Okay, we're at GoToMath.com, tutorial 4. We're going to be writing data to a file and appending data. And this is what we're going to be doing. So this is what our output's going to look like. So as you can see here, I had a column for x, column for h of x, g of h composed of g of x, and g composed of h of x. So we got some functions which I'm calling h and g, and our domain is the column that you see underneath x there. We're just running through some different ones. So every time we ran the program, we get a new output, and it gets appended to the data that's already in the file, which is I'm having all this written to Notepad. Okay, so there's obviously another way of doing, call it data frame, but we're not doing that right now. Okay, so I'm going to try to set this up here and start writing some script. Having some issues here. Just hold on there. Give me a second. Okay, so once again, we're not using any fancy text editors here. I'm just using Notepad. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and write a function here. We're going to call it h of x. And we're going to return, let's see, 2x plus 2, and then we'll put an end here. All right, then we'll call this function here g of x. And we will return, let's see, it's 0.5 x. I've got to put that little star in there, 0.5 times x minus 1, and then end the program there. Okay, so this is going to be the function here that we actually call up in the Julia shell, and we're just going to call it append f of y. Now we got that argument in there, y, and that's just, if you remember in the column where it said x, right, this is the domain of the mathematical function. And that's something that we need to get straight, is the difference between a mathematical function and then a function that's actually written in a computer program. All right, so this is actually, this f is equal to open, so this is where we're storing our file. We'll just call it data1.txt. I think I've got this stored on the desktop. Now you notice the A right there. That A is what's going to tell it to append. It's going to write to the file, and then when we go to write to the file again, instead of erasing what was already written in the first place, it'll start where we left off. All right, so just follow me here. So we're printing a line. And now that the print line, print ln, that's going to actually be something that shows up when we run the program in the shell. And then we're going to print line again, and I think what I'm going to do here is I don't know, we're just going to use the date method. I'm having some problems here, causing me to slow down. All right, so yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll do the date time. So we'll do print line, open parentheses, dates now. That's what it is. All right. And then we'll kind of... Now this part here is really important, this /r /n. All right, N means the next line, but R is carriage return. Oh, that's right, I'm doing print line. I forget. We have to use that when we write to the data file. That's where that's important. Okay, so the print line, that's just going to show up in when we run the program in the shell. And what we'll want to do next is we're going to want to write to the actual, to the text file, yeah. Yeah, but let me go ahead and, so at the top of the column, it'll show what exactly is printing off. So we have X, which is like the domain of the function, and then the /T is going to tab over, give us a space H of X, and then tab over again, and then G of X, and then tab over again. And then this time we'll do the composite function, H of G of X. Now, if you don't know what a composite function is, well, don't feel bad. And actually, these two functions have a special relationship to each other. And when we go to print out once again, well, I'll point something out. I don't really want to give it away. It's a fairly important concept in math. All right, I believe that's going to do it. Yeah, you know, we could have made a 1-minute video of just how to append data, right? But we want to try to add some flavor to this. Spice it up a little. Maybe learn something else. And that's the way most of my tutorials in this Julia is going to be. Of course, you may think that this stuff is real simple right now, but I'm going to tell you that things will eventually get pretty darn difficult real fast. Now, right, so this is where we don't want to do the /r /n when we're using the right. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and pretty much do just the same thing as we did up there in the print line. Now remember, the print line was for the shell, so we can see what our function's doing, and then the write is we're going to be writing data to a text file. Okay, remember to put that $sign out there, because dates.now is going to be an integer, but the $sign will turn it into a string. All right. And then I think we'll do on this next one here. Back making sure. Okay, so